Hi, I'm Emma. Today I'm going to tell you my story. But before I continue, please share, and subscribe to hear more stories like this. You're overreacting, it's just a twist, my mother-in-law Barbara said, rolling her eyes as I lay on her backyard deck, tears streaming down my face. Get up. You're embarrassing yourself in front of everyone. Let me back up. I hadn't always been at odds with Barbara. When I first met her son Michael 5 years ago, she seemed perfectly pleasant. She smiled at all the right times, asked appropriate questions about my job as a marketing manager, and even complimented my earrings. But that facade started cracking the moment Michael proposed. So, have you set a date? My best friend Olivia asked over coffee, 2 days after Michael had popped the question. Not yet. We're thinking spring next year, I replied, admiring how my engagement ring caught the light. And how's Barbara taking it? Still playing nice? Olivia had always been perceptive. I stirred my latte. She's fine, said she's happy for us. But, Olivia raised an eyebrow. But she also mentioned she had a lovely family heirloom Michael's grandmother wanted his bride to wear. When I said I'd already chosen my dress, she got this look on her face like I'd slapped her. Olivia leaned forward. Classic territorial behavior. Mark my words, Em. This is just the beginning. And it was. The wedding planning became a battleground. Barbara insisted on having opinions about everything from the flowers to the guest list. I just don't understand why you won't include the Hendersons, Barbara said during one particularly tense dinner at her house. They've known Michael since he was in diapers. Mom, we've been over this, Michael interjected. We're keeping it small. Emma and I agree on that. Well, I'm just saying it seems inconsiderate, Barbara replied, giving me that look I'd come to recognize, the one that said I was taking her son away from her. Michael's sister Sarah caught my eye across the table and subtly rolled hers. Later, she pulled me aside. Don't let Mom get to you, she whispered. She did the same thing when my brother Jason got married. His wife couldn't take it and now they barely speak to Mom. How does Michael not see it? I asked. Sarah sighed. He's always been Mom's favorite. He doesn't want to believe she could be difficult. The wedding came and went, with Barbara making passive-aggressive comments throughout, but nothing catastrophic. I naively thought maybe we'd turned a corner. Then came the holidays, our anniversary, my birthday. Each occasion became an opportunity for Barbara to subtly undermine me. Oh, you're making that for dinner? She'd say when visiting our home. Michael always preferred my recipe. Or, that's an interesting color on you? Some people just can't wear yellow, I suppose. Michael would occasionally defend me, but more often than not, he'd say, that's just how Mom is, or she didn't mean it that way. Things came to a head 2 years into our marriage when we announced we were expecting. I'm just saying, Emma, you really should consider quitting your job, Barbara said at the baby shower she'd insisted on hosting. Children need their mother at home. Actually, our plan is for me to take 6 months off, then go back part-time, I replied, trying to keep my voice level despite the hormone-fueled rage building inside me. Well, when Michael was little, I gave up everything for him. But I suppose some women just aren't cut out for that kind of sacrifice, she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. That's when Olivia stepped in. Barbara, did you know Emma's company actually just named her Employee of the Year? They're creating a flexible schedule specifically so they won't lose her. Not many people earn that kind of respect. Barbara's face soured. Well, good for her career, I suppose. I just hope my grandchild doesn't suffer for it. After our daughter Lily was born, Barbara's interference reached new heights. She'd show up unannounced with baby clothes because what Emma bought just wasn't warm enough. She'd rearrange our kitchen while helping out because this layout is more efficient, dear. You need to talk to your mother, I told Michael one night after Barbara had spent the day criticizing my breastfeeding technique. She's driving me crazy. She's just trying to help, Emma, Michael sighed. She raised 3 kids. She knows what she's doing. So do I. I'm Lily's mother, not her. You're being too sensitive. Mom means well. That became his mantra. Mom means well. Mom was just trying to help. Mom knows best. Then came the family reunion at Barbara's lake house, the day of the infamous leg incident. We were all out on the deck. Michael was grilling with his brothers, Sarah was setting the table, and I was helping Lily, now 3, down the deck steps to play in the yard. "Be careful with her on those steps," Barbara called out. "You're not watching her closely enough." "I'm right here with her," I responded, irritated. "Well, you let her fall at the park last week. I'm just saying." I turned to face her. "That was a normal toddler stumble, Barbara. Kids fall." That's when it happened. As I turned back to Lily, my sandal caught on a loose board. I pitched forward, tumbling down the stairs with a sickening crack as my leg hit the railing. The pain was immediate and blinding. I knew instantly something was broken. "Mom!" Michael shouted, rushing over. "Emma, don't move!" "It's her own fault for wearing those ridiculous sandals," Barbara said, barely glancing at me. "Help her up, Michael. She's fine." "I'm not fine," I gasped through the pain. "I think my leg is broken. We need to call an ambulance." Barbara scoffed. "An ambulance? For a twisted ankle? Don't be dramatic, Emma. You're scaring Lily." Michael looked uncertain, torn between his mother and me. "Michael, please," I begged. "It's really bad." "She just wants attention," Barbara said dismissively. "Put some ice on it and elevate it. You'll be fine in an hour." To my horror, Michael hesitated. "Maybe Mom's right. Can you try to stand?" "No!" Sarah interjected, kneeling beside me. "Her legs shouldn't look like that. I'm calling 911. "Sarah, don't you dare," Barbara snapped. "I won't have the neighbors seeing an ambulance here over nothing." Sarah ignored her, already dialing. Jason's wife, Amy, brought me ice while Michael finally seemed to snap out of his daze. "Mom, this is serious," he said. "You're all overreacting," Barbara insisted. "In my day, we didn't run to the hospital for every little thing." The paramedics confirmed what I already knew. My leg was broken in 2 places. As they loaded me into the ambulance, Barbara still wasn't done. "Well, I hope your insurance covers unnecessary emergency services," she said. Such a waste. Michael rode with me to the hospital, apologizing profusely. "I should have acted faster. I'm sorry." "Why didn't you believe me?" I asked, the pain medication making me bold. "Why do you always take her side?" He had no good answer. At the hospital, the doctor confirmed 2 fractures requiring surgery. When Michael stepped out to call Barbara with the update, I made my own call to Olivia. "That's it," she said when I finished telling her what happened. "This woman is toxic, and your husband is enabling her. What are you going to do about it?" "I don't know," I admitted. "But something has to change." Change came in unexpected ways. While I was recovering from surgery, Sarah and Amy visited me. "We need to talk," Sarah said. "Mom's behavior at the lake house was the last straw for us. Jason and I have decided to confront her, and we thought you should know." "Michael should be here for this conversation," I said. "He should," Amy agreed. "But will he actually stand up to her?" The question hung in the air. When I was discharged, Michael suggested I recover at his mother's house, since she has a ground floor guest room. "Absolutely not," I said firmly. "I'm going home to our house." But Mom said, "I don't care what your mother said. She refused to call an ambulance when I broke my leg because she was worried about what the neighbors would think. She called me dramatic while I was in excruciating pain." Something in Michael's face changed. "You're right. I'm sorry." During my recovery, something shifted. Maybe it was being physically vulnerable, or maybe I'd finally reached my breaking point. But I started setting boundaries. "Barbara, I appreciate the offer to rearrange Lily's room, but no thank you," I said when she showed up unannounced one afternoon. "But the feng shui is all wrong," she protested. "The feng shui is fine. Our home, our rules." She looked to Michael, expecting him to contradict me as usual. Instead, he said, "Mom, Emma's right. We've got this." Barbara's face registered shock. "I see how it is. Turn my own son against me." "Nobody's against you," I said calmly. "We're just making decisions for our own family." Meanwhile, Sarah and Jason had their confrontation with Barbara. It didn't go well. "She completely denied everything," Sarah told me over the phone. said we were all conspiring against her. Then she tried to guilt trip us with her blood pressure. What now? I asked. Now we stick to our boundaries. Jason and I agreed. She gets one chance to apologize and change. If not, we're limiting contact. The next family dinner was tense. Barbara acted as if nothing had happened, but everyone else knew better. I made your favorite, Michael, she cooed. Pot roast just like when you were little. Thanks, Mom, Michael said. Then, to my surprise, he added, though you know Emma makes an amazing pot roast too. Different recipe, but I love it. Barbara's smile tightened. Well, isn't that nice? As dinner progressed, Barbara turned to me. How's the leg, Emma? All better from your little tumble? Before I could answer, Sarah interjected. Mom, it wasn't a little tumble. Emma broke her leg in 2 places and needed surgery, and you refused to call an ambulance. I did no such thing. I was concerned, but Emma was being dramatic. Stop, Michael said quietly. Barbara blinked. Excuse me? Stop saying Emma was being dramatic. Her leg was broken, and you told me not to call an ambulance. You were wrong, Mom. The table fell silent. Michael, I can't believe you'd speak to me that way, Barbara said, tears welling up. After everything I've done for you. This isn't about what you've done for me. It's about how you treat my wife. It's not okay, and it needs to stop. Barbara looked around the table, finding no allies. I see. You've all turned against me. No one's turned against you, Jason said. We just want you to acknowledge your behavior and apologize. Apologize? For caring too much? For wanting the best for my family? I took a deep breath. Barbara, dismissing my injury wasn't caring too much. It was caring too little. She stood abruptly. I don't have to listen to this in my own home. When you're all ready to apologize to me, you know where to find me. She stormed out. Over the next few weeks, Barbara tried every manipulation tactic in her playbook. She sent guilt-tripping texts. She called Michael at work in tears. She even showed up at our house unannounced, hoping to catch him alone. But something had fundamentally changed. Michael had finally seen his mother clearly, and he couldn't unsee it. I've been enabling her my whole life, he admitted one night. Making excuses for her behavior, letting her cross boundaries. What changed? I asked. Seeing you in pain and her dismissing it, it was like a switch flipped. I suddenly saw all the patterns. Together with Sarah and Jason, we agreed on a unified approach. Barbara would be welcome in our lives if she acknowledged her behavior and made genuine efforts to change. Until then, we would maintain firm boundaries. Barbara refused. Instead, she began telling family friends that we were keeping her grandchildren from her, painting herself as the victim. Most saw through it. Everyone knows what she's like, Sarah's friend told us at a neighborhood barbecue. She's been pulling these stunts for years. Barbara's social circle began to shrink as people tired of her drama. Her bridge club asked her to take a break after she spent every meeting complaining about her ungrateful children. Her church group gently suggested she seek counseling. The final blow came at Thanksgiving. We'd decided to host at our house, inviting Sarah, Jason, their families, and some friends. We did not invite Barbara. She showed up anyway, bearing pies and a forced smile. Happy Thanksgiving, she chirped, as if nothing was wrong. Where should I put these? The room went quiet. Barbara, I said calmly, we didn't invite you. Don't be silly. It's Thanksgiving. Family belongs together. Michael stepped forward. Mom, we've been clear about our boundaries. You can't just show up unannounced. But I brought pies. Your favorite? That doesn't change anything, he said firmly. You haven't acknowledged how you've treated Emma, or anyone else for that matter. Is this still about that silly leg incident? For heaven's sake, it was months ago. Sarah joined us at the door. It's not just the leg incident, Mom. It's a pattern of behavior that goes back years. Barbara's facade cracked. Fine. I'm sorry Emma got hurt. Is that what you want to hear? Can I come in now? That's not a real apology, I said. And no, you can't come in. Not today. You can't keep me from my family on Thanksgiving. Actually, we can, Michael said sadly. This is our home. Please leave, Mom. As Michael closed the door, we could hear Barbara shouting about ungrateful children and how we'd regret this. But for the first time, her words held no power over us. That was 2 years ago. Barbara still hasn't offered a genuine apology. Instead, she's isolated herself further, refusing to accept any responsibility. She posts passive-aggressive memes on social media about children who abandon their parents and daughters-in-law who steal sons. Meanwhile, our family has flourished without her toxic presence. Michael has been in therapy, working through his complicated relationship with his mother. Sarah and Jason regularly visit with their kids, and we've created new holiday traditions that don't involve walking on eggshells. Last week, we heard through a mutual friend that Barbara's been complaining about being abandoned while recovering from a minor surgery. No one had visited her because no one knew. She hadn't told any of her children, presumably expecting them to somehow sense her need. She's reaping what she sowed, Sarah said when she heard. Michael looked sad, but resolute. She made her choice. She chose pride over family. As for me, I've made peace with the situation. I won't lie and say I don't sometimes wish things had turned out differently, that Barbara could have been the loving mother-in-law I'd hoped for when I first met Michael. But I've learned that you can't force people to change if they don't want to. Sometimes the happiest ending isn't reconciliation. It's the freedom that comes from walking away from toxic relationships and building something better. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to cut someone toxic out of your life for your own well-being? How did you handle the guilt that sometimes comes with that decision?